It's AEW Revolution predictions time. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell. Yes, he's holding the championship, but it's not the real championship. I'm the champion. I'll be defending my real championship belt, which I don't have with me right now. It's at home because I rode the bike into work and I can't put it on the bike.
Interim that champion.
Real one. Me and Luke on Sunday, live with everybody.
Don't know why I'm not defending my belt. You know, the real one.
WrestleTalk.com/support. Please get in your predictions. Let us know who you think's going to win the biggest matches while we very quickly talk about Revolution as a pay-per-view.
Yeah, because I'm so excited about it. Oh my god, this show could be insane. I genuinely think this is probably the most stacked card that AEW's ever put on. And that is saying something. Yeah. Hot dog. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different matches? Robert, that could be match of the night. Like, you got Punk MJF, Jericho Kingston, the tag triple threat, Hangman Adam Cole, even Baker Rosa. Like, loads of different matches where you're like, that could be match of the night.
Baker Rosa sounds like something.
Sounds like...
it's Baker Rosa. I'll have a Baker Rosa, please.
Whatever you say, Ollie. Yeah, sure.
Spaghetti dish.
What, a Baker Rosa?
Yeah, or like a meringue.
A meringue.
Yeah.
A Baker Rosa. One Baker Rosa, please.
There's a ladder match. You know I love a ladder match.
There's a ladder
Climb it slower, people, I say.
There's a lot of beef in that match as well. So much beef in that ladder match. Well excited for that. So we're going to be doing... I have Luke's predictions. He has sent them to me. It is going to be Ollie versus Luke at Revolution. However... got a big announcement. We got a huge announcement, like Tony Khan's.
It's a moderate announcement.
A huge announcement.
It's a minor announcement.
We're going to be changing how we do predictions again because people don't really like the one we've got, and we don't really like the one we've got. The Dan Gore rule that we've got in doesn't really work how we'd like.
Do you want to explain why it's called the Dan Gore rule? I don't know if that's public knowledge. It's called that
because Louis didn't want to lose in predictions, so he just predicted the same thing that Laurie had for that show. And because of the story we had to write him out. We had to LIW write Louis out the show. So we said it's not very fun when everyone just predicts the same matches all the time. If a card's particularly predictable, everyone just predicting the same thing isn't fun, which is why we changed it in the first place, so that we had our championship rules, so that we had to pick the opposite prediction to what the other person had picked. That still isn't really that exciting, and also it's taking away from the prediction shows that we're doing right now, because then we don't really talk about the show, we just talk about what picks we've got, and we don't actually really predict what we think is going to happen on the show, which is what we want to get back, essentially. So what we're going to do for this one is it's going to be much more like the old system, where we're just going to do straight predictions. Back and forth, you can pick the same one as your opponent. That's all fine. We're going to go through the whole card, doing your own predictions. And for now, for Revolution, we're going to keep it relatively simple for this one. We're going to have a Joker pick because, you know, gambling or whatever. Deck of cards. Where after all the picks are done, we're going to flip a coin. Actually, no, we'll probably have you go first because interim jam that champion and all that jazz, right?
No, we'll flip a coin.
Okay, if you want to be fair about it, all right. We'll flip a coin, and whoever goes first gets to pick one of the matches that they predicted. They can make that their Joker match, which means they will score double points on that match in particular if they get it right. And also then that means the other person can't then pick that match as their Joker. They have to pick a different match as their Joker. Something that they're feeling particularly confident on. We are toying with a couple of other ideas, but we want your feedback. You watching right now. Want your feedback in particular in the live chat, in the comments. Tweet us, not Ollie because he won't read it, but tweet me at Pete Quinnell. Email us, support@WrestleTalk.com, wherever you want to do your feedback. Message us on Patreon, patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Go there too. I'll definitely see those messages. And let us know your feedback. We're debating doing something like a tiered system, so some matches are worth more points than others, so you can have like title matches will be worth 2 points rather than 1, or like the bigger matches on the card, we pick like the 3 biggest matches and they're worth more. Also toying with the idea if you, great idea that me and Adam had earlier, which is you start at 0 points, but if you get a prediction wrong, you actually lose points. So if you pick a Joker on that, you lose double. So it's like a risk-reward type thing, you know? also an idea. But for Revolution, we're going to keep it relatively simple. Straight predictions back and forth, and Luke and Ollie will have one Joker pick to get double points on a match. And then for WrestleJamia, we might have something just a little bit different that will be a slightly tweaked version of what we got right now. But we're going to be fairly open with you guys. Want your feedback. We will take it on board. Leave nice comments about what you want to see in particular. And don't just say, do what Stephen Larson do, because we're not going to do that.
It's too confusing for me.
Also, it's what Stephen Larson do. We want to do our thing, all right?
Well, we've got loads of matches to get into. There's 11 on this card.
Sure is.
We will start with what I think is the most anticipated match. It's already one of my favorite matches of all time. When they fought at the start of last month, it's on its way to being my favorite wrestling story ever in modern memory. You know, peaking Ciampa and Gargano, I would say, was my previous one. CM Punk versus MJF.
This is a bloody big match, isn't it? Goodness me. After they took the incredibly bold move of having MJF win twice in Chicago.
And then turn babyface for a week.
And then, turn babyface for a week, I think. But that was all a ruse, except it wasn't. Maybe it was. I don't know. They've got this big blow-off match. It's a dog collar match, which I think was received fairly positively by a lot of fans because AEW have done one dog collar match before, and it was great.
Yeah.
So expectation is it's probably going to be a very good match. I expect it to be pretty brutal match, I think. If the go-home angle is anything to go by, this is going to be a pretty brutal match. I think it's going to be an absolute banger.
It's the bloodiest of blood feuds right now.
Yeah.
This is, like, that go-home angle as well. We were getting to a place where they could have reconciled, but instead MJF has not only reaffirmed, no, I'm going to freaking kill you, my former hero who has turned sour, but I think it's Punk is now renewed in his quest for revenge. Like the stuff MJF has done to him, beating him twice in his hometown, cheating both times, suckering him with that story, and then the big dog collar choke and blood thing. This thematically, like the length of the story that they're weaving in here, the elements of real life, and just the fact that they've already had a match, and it was, for me, a complete experience. Story, character, actual in-ring action, just the little spots and booking decisions they do in it. I think it's going to be something really special to crown what has been this era of AEW, you know, the sort of post All Out 2021 era. It's so far its crown and achievement. I think Punk wins. I think Punk wins, gets his win back. Then MJF can always say, hey, it's 2-1. I still came up overall. But you can do the rubber match. I think you take a break from this for a while. But Punk wins. But MJF proves himself in this.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like I'm sorry, I love you ending.
Absolutely, yeah. I would hope it gets to a point where maybe MJF is calling for Punk to be like, finish me. Do it. Like, he's calling for him to do it, and Punk is like, all right. And he has to, like, almost regretfully, but not regretfully. Like, he's like, fine, I got to put you away kind of thing. I think that's the tone they'll probably hit. I'm hoping they do anyway. I think this could be the most emotional match of the night for sure.
Yeah.
I think it has the most emotional weight going into it, and I think they could hit some really big spots if they want to, in terms of emotional high spots, not even wrestling high spots, if they want to go that direction. One of those that I would really like is actually involving Wardlow. I would love to have MJF on top, calls for the diamond ring, and Wardlow says no and walks away. Doesn't turn on MJF, doesn't beat him up or anything, and the match still continues. Wardlow leaving is not the thing that costs MJF, because you don't want to sully Punk's win with that. You want Punk to win clean, but you want to have that moment of Wardlow being like, no, I've had enough of you, MJF, and that then can spill over to seamlessly transition into MJF's next feud, which will be with Wardlow.
It sort of helps the fact that MJF would lose.
Exactly.
Because he can go straight into another story.
Exactly, yes.
I agree. But also, I think it has to come relatively early in the match. Definitely around the midpoint.
Yeah.
Because you want to save that final act to just be Punk and Max.
I agree.
Off the back of this, though, we're talking about MJF going into a feud with Wardlow, potentially. If Punk wins, like I'm predicting, I don't know what Luke's saying.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Surely Punk, Hangman Page.
Yeah, totally.
You can't deny, like, the amount of wins Punk's had.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I would also say, because personally, I'm predicting Jon Moxley to beat Bryan Danielson later. Won't talk about your prediction yet. My predictions don't really matter. They're not factoring into Revolution. So I'm saying I'm predicting Moxley to beat Danielson.
It's interesting, though.
Moxley, I think, could legitimately then go after Hangman. He could be a great challenger as well. I think that would be a really interesting feud if they wanted to do that.
Moxley.
They could have, he could join that reunion with Bryan Danielson. They form their tag team faction, whatever, and then uses that momentum to go after Hangman. I think that could totally work.
Danielson is almost using Moxley as a cipher because Danielson hates Hangman.
I think that'd be really cool.
He's just a cowboy.
I feel like there's a lot of story material there to do it. So yeah, I think either Punk or Moxley or both, because you got a lot of time between now and Double or Nothing. So you could have like a big Dynamite where you have some big title match with one of the two of them, maybe.
What's Luke saying?
Luke has predicted CM Punk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hook versus QT Marshall.
Mm.
No disrespect to QT. We loved having him on the show last week. Hook.
Luke has also predicted Hook.
I don't think we need to talk about that much more.
But tell you what, though, legitimately, one of the most anticipated matches on the card.
I love watching Hook.
I cannot wait to watch Hook kill QT Marshall. Yeah. It's going to be great.
Chris Statlander versus legit Layla Hirsch. Both of these matches, by the way, are on the buy-in pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna. This is actually a long-running story. It's been going a month, 6 weeks, which is long-running for the women's division. It's either that long or it's a year
9
and a
months.
half, and they haven't done anything since.
Yeah,
I am gonna look. I would have said Hirsch, but Statlander cut a promo on this week's Dynamite saying you're gonna see a new side of me, and I think Statlander is one of the wrestlers in that division they do get behind. So I'm going to say Statlander, potentially debuting a new gimmick, maybe something more serious and not alien-focused.
Maybe. Do you reckon she's going to still be part of Best Friends and that whole crew?
Sure.
Or is she going to leave?
Best Friends chaos I haven't even thought about.
You love Best Friends. We all know it.
I like the Best Friends. It's chaos that do my head in.
That's true. Interestingly, Luke has predicted Layla Hirsch for this match. That's the first difference between you two. I personally am also predicting Layla Hirsch. I think that she's just got something, man. And I think she would do really well I think she's someone that they can really get behind if they want to. And I think that Statlander, even if she loses, she can quite easily still be beat up. She can quite easily be built up to someone that could be a legit contender not too long after. I
disagree. I think Hirsch. I love Hirsch. I prefer Hirsch, to be honest, but I think Statlander will be groomed for a title shot because she's already got that name recognition. Hirsch will only feel like a filler, really, unfortunately. So Statlander's the one to build. Where's Ruby Soho?
Yeah.
Jade Cargill is defending her TBS title against Tay Conti. Tay Conti, most improved wrestler of the year last year for Wrestling Observer. But hey, Jade is money. She's on a winning streak. What, she had 28 and an O right now?
28, 29, somewhere around
Something
there.
like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be. This is quite predictable. I think this is a Jade retention.
Sure is, and Luke has also predicted Jade Cargill.
She's a genuine ratings mover.
She is. She's great.
Now we get the match that should be on Rampage.
Yes.
But isn't. Because I think we all want Darby versus Sammy versus Andrade. My God. That triple threat on the pay-per-view. But we're getting it on Rampage on Friday instead.
And what do we have on the pay-per-view instead, Ollie?
A trios match of AHFO, so Andrade, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy against Darby, Sammy, and Sting.
So we briefly mentioned this on the AEW review we just did. Do you reckon they just did this because it's Sting and they've just gone, well, we could put Sting in a match, so there you go.
100%.
Cool. I'm not really looking forward to this match. I like a lot of the people involved in it. I don't really have the same emotional connection to a lot of the other matches that have been built up.
I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think like it is fun to have like a cool Legends spot on the show. It gives it something different. But at the same time, and they've always said that they want the TNT title to feel like another world championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the actions do not match that mentality, because then you put the title match on this pay-per-view, not reverse engineer Sting into it.
Yes.
But who wins? God, actually, I haven't really thought about this a great deal. I think Darby, Sammy, and Sting win because, you know, you've got your champion. Darby and Sting rarely lose. Why haven't they had a tag title feud? And I think, more importantly, Matt Hardy loses because he is getting dejected from the AHFO. And who becomes a free agent next week? Jeff Hardy.
Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think, yeah, if Hardy loses here, he can maybe be kicked out of AHFO, so it just becomes the AFO, I guess. And then, yeah, Hardy's like, I don't know what to do. I've lost everything. And in comes Jeff to console him to, hey, we've got Extreme, you know? And then they go on their Team Extreme reunion or whatever.
Or broken. You look pretty broken, man.
Yeah, totally. Luke has also gone for Team Sting.
Yeah.
For this one.
Oh, this is mouth-watering. Jurassic Express defending their tag titles against Red Dragon and the Young Bucks.
This, again, has potential to be match of the night, because hot damn, look at all these wrestlers in this match. I think tag team wrestling, I think, is probably one of my favorite forms of wrestling up there, I think. Just straight, like, no bells and whistles, just a normal tag match on like big pay-per-view or whatever. I'm like, that's my kind of thing. So this has the potential, I think, to be like my personal favorite match of the night. Even if it's not necessarily the best, I think this might be like one of my favorites. And this one's a really difficult one to call because they could go a number of different ways, I think, out of this. I don't think the Bucks are winning, but I don't know whether Red Dragon aren't, because they could go a couple different directions out of here. Jurassic Express's reign has been fine.
They've not done anything.
They've not really done anything. They've had a few title matches on Rampage. That's about it. Not really had any big kind of blood feuds or any meaningful stories or anything. I'd like them to hold on to the belt so they could do more with it before they drop it. I could also see Red Dragon picking it up to feud, to continue the story that they have going on, which seemingly has a lot more focus right now. So maybe they put it onto Red Dragon. But I think I personally am going for Jurassic Express.
I really don't know on this one. I agree Jurassic Express haven't done really nothing of substance. And that is a critique of the tag division, where it only really feels prominent when the Bucks are champions.
Yeah.
Like Lucha Bros, FTR. They should have really memorable title reigns. Yeah. But they don't, do they? They have really memorable matches against the Bucks on pay-per-view. Yes. Not much in between, which is a real shame. So I think Jurassic... Yeah, you're right. Red Dragon and the Bucks is the story here. How do you further that story? Because I don't think Adam Cole's winning in the main event. Bucks, you've been there, done that. So yeah, Red Dragon, I think, and they should. I think they've got the pedigree, unless Bucks and Red Dragon cancel each other out and Jurassic Express retain.
That's why I think Jurassic Express will retain, is they'll cancel each other out. But
so Red Dragon had a bit of a feud set up with FTR in the two battle royals. So I think Red Dragon win, and they first feud with FTR. Oh, that is heel on heel. And the Buck stuff bubbles in the background. I know. It
sounds amazing. Luke has gone for... Oh, go ahead.
At the same time, the Young Bucks can feud with the Hardys without the belts.
Yeah, of course they can.
So Red Dragon for me.
Luke has gone for Jurassic Express. He has he seems pretty confident that they are going to be walking away retaining their belts out of this one, which I think is good. I agree with Luke.
So the women's title could change hands. Other than that, there wouldn't be any title changes. Okay. Yeah. Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. This is probably the hardest one for me to predict because the story I presume they're going to go on to works if either guy wins.
Yeah.
But I guess if you reckon Moxley goes on to face Page, Moxley wins. This is real tough.
It is real tough. I'd also say as well that I think Mox has a bunch of momentum coming back from his return now, so I think they'd want to continue that up. And Bryan Danielson is the kind of guy who can lose and it won't affect him too much.
He loves to lose.
He just loves losing and putting people over.
What's that, Drew Gulak? Yeah,
I'll put you over, no big. And then he can just wrestle once again. Everyone goes, oh yeah, he's amazing. Doesn't matter. And then he can get built right back up again.
Yeah, Danielson hasn't got a streak going because, of course, he lost it to Hangman. Yeah, I'm going to go Moxley. But it's tough. I cannot wait for the match. Second most anticipated one on the card for me. And, a lot of these matches feel like feud enders, story enders. This is really exciting because it's at the start, and I'm so excited for where they go next.
And it's not just going to be, I'm excited to see them wrestle again. I'm excited to see them wrestle and then see where they go from there.
Good Lord. Can you imagine if they become a tag team?
Don't even.
Red Dragon
versus Mox and Danielson.
You see, that's why I don't want Jurassic. I love Jurassic Express,
They're
but
great.
Look at the other things.
It's wild, isn't it?
Oh my word.
Luke has also predicted Jon Moxley for this one. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable.
Credit to AEW. Like sometimes it's so to be predictable is one thing, but to be unpredictable is one thing. To be unpredictable and really, really exciting. That's difficult.
There's quite a lot of times for WWE shows where we don't know what they're going to predict, but that's just because we don't know what they're thinking at the time. They're just like, they could do anything at this point. We don't know. Whereas this is like, they could do anything, and all options are exciting, you know?
And there's a very real possibility they'll find an option we haven't thought about that's way better than anything we could
Option C, exactly.
come up with.
Before we talk about the next match on the card, just wanted to very quickly talk about Wrestle League. Yeah! If you don't know, we have our own predictions league where you guys can join in with all of our other pledge hammers over on our Patreon page, as well as all of us in the WrestleTalk lot. We all put in predictions for every major show. And we have seasons running from each WWE Big Four pay-per-view to the next. So this current season is going from the Rumble to WrestleMania. And then at WrestleMania, it starts a new season as well. So you can join in on Wrestle League, see how the whole thing works. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk, compete against all the other pledge hammers and all of us. Get in your predictions right now, because the predictions form is up now, and the deadline is Sunday. All you have to do is become pledge hammer $5 or higher. And then Wrestle League. Compete. It's fun. Predictions. That's what we're doing right now. But with everyone.
Pete, if I was to become a pledge hammer on Patreon,
yes.
Is that like the only thing I'd get? What else would I get at various price points?
I think there might be, one or two other things that you might get on Patreon, including, WrestleTalk Extra, where you and Luke do, a deep dive review of a retro pay-per-view, WrestleTalk After Dark, where a bunch of people sit around and just chat about nonsense for a few hours. You can get your custom wrestling nicknames that get shouted out on a podcast episode or a bumper in the WrestleTalk news episode, a personal video call with all of us, podcast extras. There is so much happening. There's never been a better time to become a pledge hammer, except the other time that it was.
And Fan Quizzlemania.
Forgot about that one. That's also there. You know that Quizzlemania? That thing you like. But with you guys competing instead. That's on Patreon too. A lot of stuff on Patreon. So much stuff I forgot what was on it.
Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. This story has been awesome. Mostly from Kingston, although Kingston hasn't done a great deal. I just want to see Kingston beat up Jericho.
Yeah. Has this story been great, or has it just been that we really like Eddie Kingston?
So Jericho's big thing is you haven't been able to win the big one. And I think this is the one where Eddie does finally win the big one.
I mean, that's totally fair. That's also what I think is going to happen. I feel like this is going to be... This will hopefully be the time where Kingston beats Jericho, but Jericho's like salty about it. He's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have won because I'm still the big one. I'm in AEW." And that's when Santana and Ortiz can be like, "All right, piss off, Jericho. We're going to side with Kingston now. Stop. Go be salty elsewhere. We don't want to deal with you anymore." And they I don't know whether they should turn on Jericho necessarily, because I don't think turning on a heel works.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to turn Jericho babyface again. Please don't turn Jericho babyface again. So I think that them just kind of being like, we acknowledge you're terrible, just leave us alone now kind of thing, and can form a babyface trio with Kingston, I think works much better than them turning on Jericho specifically.
I agree, but sometimes you can just do stuff when the people are over enough.
True.
I think if Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz... So Santana and Ortiz just help Kingston to win the big one. So they are effectively turning heel in morals.
Mm-hmm.
Beat up Jericho afterwards. You've got a new 3-man faction there. And yeah, do you want a full babyface, blue-eyed Eddie Kingston? No. I want a House of Black style tweener. We do what the F we like. New LAX.
I mean, that's what he is now, right?
Yeah.
But he's super over as a babyface. People love him.
Yeah,
So he doesn't have to be a babyface,
I think Santana and Ortiz, and it's so counterintuitive, can just beat the crap out of Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And everyone will cheer.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could totally work. But maybe don't, beat the actual crap out of him. It's just like a little help for Kingston,
No, I think they should beat him up. What would Malachi Black do?
I don't think that's the barometer for what you should be testing what other people should do in the company.
It isn't?
No, I don't think so. No. On this match, Luke has predicted Chris Jericho to win.
That stings. I'm going to tell
It's
Eddie.
a big one. Yeah, that's a big one right there. He's predicted Chris Jericho to beat Eddie Kingston. I don't know. I don't know about this one at all. I personally, I can't see Jericho winning. But that's a lie. I could see Jericho winning. I don't think he should.
It's not clear-cut, I grant Luke that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because Kingston's character is so interesting, is because his biggest enemy is himself. And you have to lose to sort of tell that story.
Yeah.
For me, you've told that story for a year and a half. Now it's time to win one.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think that story has run its course as much as I love it. We'll see what happens. Maybe Jericho's new gimmick will change that. GFY, eh?
GFY.
Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks versus Wardlow versus either Christian Cage or Ethan Page in the face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT title.
Apologies for people who've already submitted their Wrestle League predictions. I looked at Wikipedia and it just said Christian Cage, so I put that on the form and I didn't have the option for Ethan Page. So,
look, I'm not going to choose either man anyway. Yeah. And if I was, it would have been Christian Cage.
I agree.
Yeah.
I am really excited for this match. This is another one of those matches that I was listing at the start that I didn't even mention that could just be like, hey, this could just be the match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
These people could just go out and put on an absolute banger of a match because it's got some really exciting people in there and a bunch of beef. And I'm really excited for it.
It's half beef.
It's half beef.
Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Wardlow.
Oh,
and then
so
you've got
beef.
Cassidy, Starks, and likely Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Some thin boys.
Some thin
some
boys.
Twinks up in there.
Some boys that can be thrown around by the beef.
Marco Stunt should be in this match.
And you just have 5 other beefcakes, and it's just Marco Stunt getting pinballs between them the whole match.
Just accident. I mean, Orange Cassidy's... Oh, no, I'm getting my factions mixed up. No, that's a Jurassic Express thing.
Sure is.
Oh, God, it's tough. So...
The winner of this match, by the way, gets a shot at the TNT title. Worth bearing in mind.
I don't think it's Cassidy, Hobbs, Starks, or Christian. It really is between Wardlow and Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Wardlow, do you use that to further the MJF stuff? Adam said the way this week went down, the fact that MJF said, hey, you can win it, you can keep it if you want. To him, that says Wardlow isn't winning. Mm-hmm. And I see that reasoning.
Yeah.
But the real driver of what I'm picking is pure goddamn emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Lee for me, please.
Okay. Keith Lee to win. I think that makes a lot of sense for him having just debuted in the company, continuing that momentum. Do you think there's a possibility of, obviously, there's a possibility because you think Wardlow might win, but of them kind of using big multi-person match, big ladder match, you can get away with Keith Lee losing and not derail the momentum that he's had from just joining the company. If he was going to not win, this would be an okay match to do it, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about Wardlow.
you could. Totally. 100%. It's very close. Very close between the two. I honestly don't know who I'm picking between Wardlow and Keith Lee. I still haven't decided yet.
What?
And I'll be choosing closer to the time.
No, you got to choose.
No,
now.
I can't do it right now.
What are you feeling right now?
I don't have the time pressure.
3, 2, 1.
Wardlow.
Ooh.
I said it, didn't I? Oh, no.
What's Luke said?
Luke has predicted Wardlow.
Oh, man, we're different on quite a few.
Yeah. Luke has predicted Wardlow for this match. Damn. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I'd love to see either of them, honestly. Maybe it's Ricky Starks.
He's already got a belt. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship.
Long time coming.
Long time coming. No stip, so like you wouldn't expect it to be a bloodbath. You've already done the bloodbath.
Yeah.
I would imagine this will be the really great in-ring match. I love Thunder Rosa. I've said this for years now. I want her to be pushed at the top, but she hasn't been. That said, I'm going with my head here. I want Thunder Rosa to win, but I think Tony Khan is going to keep the belt on Baker, and they're going to do it in a sort of storyline where Baker has already had one. No, Rosa has got her one unlicensed match win, and Baker can have this win. So you could do a rubber match down the line. But I don't agree with that.
But you think that's what's going to happen.
I think that's what's going to happen.
So you're predicting Baker.
Yeah.
DMD to retain. Rosa did pin Britt Baker on Dynamite last night. I don't know what that means for this match. I don't know whether that means that Rosa's got Baker's number, so Baker can't beat her, or it's going to be Rosa got that pin there because she's losing at Revolution. I don't know. Up until Dynamite, I was pretty confident that it was going to be Rosa. And now I really don't know. For what it's worth, Luke has predicted Britt Baker.
Of course he would say that. Yeah. I thought he would have gone Rosa. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Rosa, honestly.
I want it to be.
I feel like Baker's reign has come to its logical conclusion, I think, at this point. I don't know. A lot of the steam, I think, has come out of her reign and her character going up to here. And I think there's enough fuel with Hayter and Martinez and Rebel and all that whole dynamic going on with that for Baker to do something else after the title feud and not feel lost on the card. And I think Rosa winning would just be kind of neat.
Finally, because we've already done Punk and MJF, for the World Championship, Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole, where there's been an added stipulation where the winner gets to keep the name Adam.
That's a pretty big stipulation right there.
So it could be Budge.
So he just becomes Cole.
Budge Cole.
Budge Cole. Nice. And then he just becomes Hangman. Wangman. Sorry.
Wangman Page.
Wangman. This match, I would argue, is the third most anticipated match on this card. Not fourth. I'm still really looking forward to it because I think the two of them will put on a banger of a match, right?
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah.
Look at Hangman's matches this year.
Right.
The Danielson one and the Lance Archer one. Incredible.
Yeah. And that Lance Archer one was way better than anyone thought it was going to be. So good. So I think this will be a banger of a match. Don't get it twisted at all. I can see there being a bit of soap opera shenanigans with the Bucks, with Red Dragon. I don't think we're going to see a returning Kenny Omega here. I think he's still going to be out for a little while longer, I would think. From what the reports were saying, he was pretty messed up.
Could be at work, though.
Could be. You're quite right. I personally feel like, as much as I love Adam Cole, because he is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I love that man, I think that it's not the right time for Hangman to lose it. And I think Hangman's going to retain. Not confident on that, though.
Yeah, I think Hangman's going to retain as well. I think Adam Cole, there is some truth to the critics of how he's been booked in AEW. He had the sort of feud with Jungle Boy. Granted, a lot of other people were weaved in that, but ultimately, Cole did lose.
Yeah.
Then he had the feud with Orange Cassidy. There was a lot going on there, but ultimately, he did lose.
Sure, he won like 7 times and then lost once.
The final match, though.
Yeah.
Like you know, you want to get you don't get momentum off of losing the final match in a series.
That's true.
So in my head, Adam Cole is coming into this world title match with actually not that much momentum. He's got a lot of fun character story and a lot of character history with Hangman, but I don't think that in-ring booking has been there to make him credible enough. So for me, I think this is actually a very predictable match.
Yeah, well, it's a lights out match against Cassie, so it doesn't count, does it?
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
That's how it works. And that one was in a trios match, so it's also not a singles match, is it, Ollie? Yeah, need to think about these things. So you're predicting Page, are you?
Yeah.
Cool. Luke has also gone for Hangman Page to retain. Which now means we've talked about the whole card. We now need to do a flip of the coin, and then you need to choose who your Joker pick is going to be.
Do a flip, Pete. I got so excited to say it.
Pete, do a flip.
Pete, do a flip.
Pete, do a flip. I'll do a flip. You need to call it. You're doing heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
All right, we're going for it. It is heads, which means Luke goes first for his Joker pick.
Reflip.
That's not how it works. So which means that Luke has picked for his Joker, so he's going to score double points. Each of these matches is, of course, worth 1 point, except for this one match for Luke. He's picking Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. Jade Cargill being his Joker. If Jade Cargill wins, he scores 2 points for that match.
What is the other most predictable one?
I mean,
can I have Hook QT?
Yeah. That's the most predictable, right?
This feels like a fall down of the Joker format.
This is why we're tweaking it for WrestleJamia. So we're only going to have, like, you know, the top 3 matches you can put a Joker on, or only title matches, or whatever, right?
Cool. Okay, for now.
I really wanted you to go first, I'll be honest.
Whacking on
because
Hook.
Luke's second one that he had lined up was really interesting. I couldn't believe he did not pick Hook. He sent me 4 potential options. I don't know why, because you only need 2. He had Jade Cargill first. Then he had Jurassic Express as his Joker for second. I really wanted him to pick that, I'll be honest. Then after that, it was Hangman. Then after that, it was Baker. I was like, these are the least predictable matches, Luke. What are you on about? But anyway.
Well, remember to subscribe right now and tune in on Sunday for the live reactions of me versus Luke, of course. That's the most anticipated match because it's for the real championship.
For the fake championship, exactly.
And also go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk so you can partake in Wrestle League yourself, get your own predictions in. Let's see what people have been sending in on the Omegachats. Last call for the Omegachats. We'll read out every single one. Over $5 US. Spencer Trainer. Hey, it's another podcast with the boys. Love you guys. What's better to support you, Patreon or YouTube member?
Patreon. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Misha Sumra. Watch Pete and Tempest talk Pokemon in yesterday's podcast extras and had a thought. Pete thought he was a fire starter kind of guy, a twisted fire starter, but it turned out he was a grass man. Very funny.
Bam, bam.
Anyway, love you guys. Such good
content. Such good C.
My mind immediately went to such good C word.
C word.
Bloody hell. Calm down, Misha.
Can't be saying that these days.
LIW4444 live. Jam that jam. Stay safe.
Thank you.
What do you think of Quaxley?
Quaxley is my guy. I love Quaxley.
Tidy. He's a tidy duck.
He's got a hat. He commands respect with the hat, Molly. I love Quaxley.
Your enjoyment of Pokemon, what degree of irony is in there?
None.
Okay.
I love Pokemon. Have you seen Quaxley?
Yeah.
He's got a hat, Ollie.
DSNFKTNT. I had a pretty severe panic attack last night, but oh man, last night's show really helped me out. I love what this company is doing, and I can't wait for Revolution. Let's go, Pete. He's not even in the match.
But I am the Jam That Champion.
LIW.
The true Jam That Champion.
For life. Ollie the Quaxley has chatted, Ollie, I'm choosing Quaxley as my starter and naming
Good
him
choice.
after you since you both are the cutest of all time.
Poor reasoning, but good choice.
Tidy. No matter what that dastardly hill Megan says. A real ex-girlfriend.
A real ex-girlfriend that turned into a bit.
It's not awkward at all. Our families still talk to each other. Jam that jam, and as always, love each other. Ten Ruzza. Do you see any debuts or returns at Revolution and or Dynamite next week? Can't wait for BTE next week and Adam versus Adam. Hope Blompier is on the live reactions.
He isn't. Also,
Could have been all the Adams.
it should have been, shouldn't
yeah.
it? Oh well. Should have got Adam Pearson in as well. Get him on the show. Debuts or returns? The only one I don't think it's going to happen because I don't know where or when it would happen. The only one I can consider would be Cesaro.
Free agent right now.
Yeah.
If you're including Dynamite, I believe Jeff is free for them, right?
Mhm.
So put
Possibly,
Jeff Hardy
yes.
in there as well.
Yeah.
And finally for now, Jay Spalding. My idea on predictions. You can predict winner and finish. Oh, finish is tough. If you
Finish
get
is
one,
tough.
it's 1 point, but if you get both, it's 2 points. Should avoid the tie, and it's different. Jam that jam.
It is possible. We were looking into that. Adam also had the idea of you can pick the third option. So in a singles match, you have this person wins clean, this person wins clean, or it's a DQ count out, something else as the third option. Which would work more for WWE, but
Yeah, not for a company that famously does not do DQ finishes.
for sure, yes.
Well, very rare.
Very rarely.
Well,
yes.
thank you very much for joining us for our second AEW podcast of the day. Of course, hit the subscribe button. Join in with us on Sunday during the live reactions and go over to Patreon as well to become a pledge hammer and submit your own predictions.
Patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been the fake world champion.
Real Jam
Pete.
That champion. Chopper Pete. Real Jam That champion.
Jam that jam.
Fake champion. Interim.